Yesterday, music industry took part in Blackout Tuesday because the show must be paused. Pause to really listen. Pause to really think. Pause to talk. And pause for love. Pause for unity. Pause for respect. And pause to start making real changes. That continues today and every day. We need to do better. We need to have open conversations. We need to make changes. To learn more on how you can help, please visit We Are the Promotion Coalition and follow the NAACP. Music brings people together every day, all around the world, all genres, all formats. Music never sees a race, a color, an age, a gender. Music's for everyone. And music needs to come together even more now to make real change. Unity, we all must stand united. Welcome back to Rock On Studio Live. Thank you guys for listening to me, and I really appreciate you checking the show out once again. My name is Elwood, and welcome to Rock On Studio Live. Haven't got a chance yet, check out the YouTube channel and Rock On Studio Live. All you got to do is search, please click subscribe, bang that link, whatever you want to say. Check out past interviews and get ready for even more. Tomorrow, Corey Marks will be joining me, and we'll talk about his little collaboration he did as he enters the rock world. But today's guest, he's a father, he's a husband, he's a rock star, he's a movie star, and he's a comedian too. Welcome to Rock On Studio Live, guitarist of Asking Alexandria, Mr. Ben Bruce, everybody.
Oh, me.
I feel like I need claps there, but I can't figure out how to do it, so that's all we do. We just do this.
After the show for you.
Well, Ben, what's going on, man? Welcome to Rock On Studio Live. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm tired and a bit confused, same as everyone, but carrying on. I think just trying to stay healthy and keep a positive outlook on life with everything that's going on. And like you just said in that moving intro, I'm just trying to educate myself and figure out how I can be better and how I can help everything and everyone at the moment, which is, I think, something that we all should be doing.
Yep. And trying to stay sane with 3 kids in the house under quarantine. How's that been, Dad?
That has been wonderful. I've got a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. So inside here is pretty insane at the moment. This room that I'm in right now, this is supposed to be my sanctuary. This is where I record music, write music. This is where I do auditions for television shows. This is where I come to be alone. And be creative. And my wife figured out that more often than not, this is where I come to get away from the kids. So she's banged a guest bed in the middle of it and said, this is going to be a guest bedroom from now on. And I said, okay. Well, I'm not taking down my plaques or any of my instruments. And she was like, that's fine. And I was like, fine, I'm going to bed upstairs.
Happy wife, happy life, man. You got to learn that. You got to learn that early.
Exactly. I don't lock them out of this room. They lock me in at this point.
So let me ask you this. What was harder, in crazy party Asking Alexandria days, controlling bandmates and getting them somewhere drunk, or taking control of a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn?
Funnily enough, taking care of drunk bandmates is harder because I actually find I can reason with my children and I can have a conversation with them. If you've ever tried to talk to my drummer, for instance, after he's had a few too many drinks, zilch, nothing. It's literally like talking to a brick wall. So, yes, my bandmates have a combined IQ that's probably, myself included, lower than my children.
Yeah, I have a best friend who had triplets left for his first kids. And yeah, I went and stayed with them. They were all 2 years old, 3 2-year-olds, a boy and 2 girls. And he said, hey, watch them for a minute. I got to go to the bathroom. And I only watched him for like 10 minutes, but I seriously felt like I was at the bar trying to get 3 drunk friends home at the same time. One's climbing something over here, one's falling off the couch. No, don't go here, don't go there. I was like, I don't know how you do this, man. This is absolutely
it's impossible. What I've figured out very quickly is if I don't react, they don't do it anymore because it's boring. Like my son used to like climb up on something, and if I was like, hey, what are you doing, don't do that, he'd be like, haha, and he would keep doing it. And now, like, if I've noticed he's climbed up into the fridge or something, I don't even look. I'm like, hey man, don't hurt yourself. And he's like, this is boring, and he gets down. So
reverse psychology as a dad. Look
caring
at
is not caring, I think.
So the new single, Anti-Socialist, currently number 6 on the rock charts this week. Huge congratulations. I mean, as soon as the song came out, the production on it, the riffs, the chorus, the explosion of sound brought to a new level from the band. New album, Like a House on Fire, out now. Streamed 60 million times worldwide. Is that insane to you, hearing those numbers?
It's very, very insane to me, especially... I don't even know where to begin. It's so insane that when I was a kid, I would literally find my mum's cassette tapes. And I very quickly figured out that if you put tape, like sellotape, over the little holes on top of the cassette tape, you could record over them. So I used to go and record myself playing guitar over my mum's cassette tapes in the hopes that she would put her cassette in and hear one of my songs. That's how badly I wanted just anyone to hear the music I was writing. And then before this album comes out, I get told, hey, we need to postpone the release of this because we can't get physical products out there. So not enough people will be able to buy it to have a significant first week. And I'm like, what are you talking about? When I was a kid, I would give anything for my mom and my sister to hear this music. We now have this unlimited, essentially, platform called the internet, and that's not enough for you. And so they're like, well, be it on your head. And we release the album anyway. And yeah, we get numbers back first week, and it's like, whoa, there's millions of people have listened to this album just like that. And I'm like, wow, this is absolutely absurd. It's insane. It's I don't even know how, like if I could tell myself as a kid, there's going to be millions of people listening to your music, I'd be like, shut up.
Yeah, it just hearing 1 million sounds weird. 60 million stream worldwide, and that's up to date. That is mind-boggling number.
Well, the funny thing is, I was talking to our drummer about that the other day, and he was like, 1 million is an unfathomable number to a human. Like he was like, picture 1 million right now, and I was like, oh, I can't picture 1 million. It's impossible. You can't. It's unfathomable, and it's so strange that the music industry has come to this place where it's like, you work in the millions. It's like, oh, that video only has a million views. It's like, do you understand what 1 million is? It's such a huge, huge number. And it's to me that people are kind of like accustomed to seeing the million number, because rappers, they do such an insane amount of millions of streams and stuff that people now discredit it. But it's like, no, you don't understand like how much that is. Like, that's an insane number to me. So to sit there and say our new album's had like 60 million streams, I'm just like, wow, that's mind blowing to me.
Well, it's a lot of hard work paying off too. The album is phenomenal from beginning to end. Been following Asking Alexandria for years, and I truly felt this album. Spoiler alert, I got to hear it a little early, but I was lucky enough to do it, which was awesome. But I just feel like the level was brought up on this record. I mean, the writing process, the production process of it, the intros of it, the huge choruses. And I remember the first time I heard the old album, I said, shit, this is a problem. Every song could be a single. And I don't know if there's a problem like that, that's a good problem. Because when listening through the record, there are so many great songs that have such big hooks and breakdowns and like, every song could really be a single. Was that a problem when putting that album together?
That it kind of became apparent to us too. I was like, shit, like every song could be a single. But that, to me, that was good, because our goal is always to make the biggest sounding songs. And to me, a lot of that lies in the chorus. So for me, the big part of every song is like, we have to have, the chorus has to be larger than life, no matter what. Whether people love it or hate it, it has to be so big it evokes a real big reaction from people. And I think that's what happened. People either going, oh, they hate it, or they fucking love it, you know. And I think that it's, the choruses are huge, you know, and the guitars are big, and the production, like you said, is really big. And we tried to keep it also, like the drums and everything are real. We didn't replace the drum sounds. We tried to keep as much of it authentic and human as possible, whilst also making it sound modern and polished. And I'm really proud of what we accomplished. I'm super excited that people are listening to it and enjoying it. And I think, as is with tradition at this point with Asking Alexandria, when an album first comes out, there's a lot of people that don't understand it and are very, very angry at us and the album. I think that's a good thing, because it means we did something different. It means we progressed our art, we've moved forward. And sometimes it takes people a few listens, it myself included, when a band releases something different, like Avenged Sevenfold, when they released the White Album, their self-titled, I put it on the first time, I was like, what is this? Now fast forward, it's one of my favorite albums ever, you know. It's because they did a good job. It wasn't an initial comfort. I didn't turn it on and go, I've heard this before, so I know I like it. And I think that's what I try and do, what we try and do with every record. I don't want it to be, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you like it on first listen, that's awesome, but it's not because it's going to be familiar. And I don't ever want to fall into that trap where people like it because they've heard it before.
That's a great way of looking at it. Rock On Studio Live does something different than anybody else. If you have a comment or a question, you could drop it into the comment section. We'll do our best to get that up on the screen. All you got to do is click on the link or drop in the comments, and we'll get it going. Rock On Studio Live 101 with your favorite rock stars, where you not only can watch and listen, but interact at the same time. So let me ask you this. It's got to, as much as the excitement, the record is out, it's doing great. Anti-Socialist is at number 6. How painful it, though, you guys had one of the most massive tours that was supposed to be on the road right now, with 2 nights where I am in Chicago, Asking Alexandria, Falling in Reverse, Wage War. I mean, that lineup is stacked. It still has to hurt right now that you're not on the road doing that at the same time to support the record.
It really does. And don't get me wrong, I'm thankful in a lot of ways, because I'm getting to spend a lot more time with my wife and kids. And obviously when I'm on the road, that for me is the hardest thing, is being away from them. But at the same time, you put so much love and effort and years, literal years of creativity behind a record. And it really is all for the live show for us. Like, I love releasing it for people to listen to on their computers and in their car. That's great. But all of that is to lead up, to build to something. It's to build to the show. For me, when I went to a rock show, I remember, like, I mean, I could be one of any millions of the shows I probably went to as a kid, but even, for instance, one of my earliest ones, Machine Head. I went to a Machine Head show, and I remember being at the barricade, and the lights went down, and I just remember getting goosebumps from my toes to the top of my hair, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening. Like, I knew their songs, you know, I already knew what was going to happen, but there's nothing like when that PA turns on and that song I listened to 100 times in my bedroom kicks my ass physically at a show, and they're right there. And I was like, oh, so that's kind of what the whole thing builds towards with every record release, especially for us. And with this one in particular, we had just spent the last 2 years touring in hockey arenas around the United States, soaking up 15 to 20,000 people a night's energy and figuring out what is the best part, what are the best parts of our set, what are the parts that make people cry, what are the parts that make people jump all together, what are the parts that make people sing at the top of their lungs all together as one. And we took all of that and we put it into this album. We were like, this album is gonna be great, but it's gonna be incredible live. It's a live album. And so we put the tour together. We were ready. We'd spent so much money, more than we ever have, on live production, because we wanted to bring the album to life. And we were so prepared, and it was like, it's go time. And then gone. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I remember, it might sound stupid, but we're so invested and we're so passionate about it. I remember when my manager, Dione, called me and was like, I think we're going to have to postpone this. I remember I got that lump in my throat and I cried. I remember crying. I hung up the phone, I cried, and I was so devastated and so heartbroken that we weren't going to get to take this creation out and share it with our fans. But, you know, it's been a few months now, and I've come to terms with where we're at, and I understand why obviously shows have had to be postponed and stuff. And I know we'll get back out on the road eventually. It's just frustrating not knowing when. There's no answer. No one has an answer.
I know, and that's something we're all battling right now, and also very confused because you see some states are like, open on up, come on in, the bars are open.
Arizona, it's like nothing happened. They're like, the bars are open, everything is open, and I'm like, guys, it didn't just disappear. I go out in public now and I wear a mask, and I know that the mask is mainly to protect, to prevent me from spreading if I have it, you know what I mean? Which I don't, but that's why people should wear a mask to prevent. But people here, man, like I'm wearing a mask in the supermarket and everyone's like,
oh, he must be sick.
Yeah,
like,
why?
No.
Like, no one's wearing a mask. Everyone's. I went to a restaurant the other day, not to eat at the restaurant, to get takeout, even though restaurants are open now. And I was like, okay, I wonder what this is going to be like. Oh man, it was rammed. The bar was like shoulder to shoulder, people drinking. Like, I was like, what is going on right now? But hey,
and then you think, why can't we have a concert?
Why can't we have a concert? People having a beer. Come on, let me play some music. We'll make a suit for people, a safe suit, and we'll put it up at our merch table for free. We can all come in together looking like we're going into some nuclear active war zone, and we'll have a good time listening to some music.
It's amazing. Ben Bruce from Asking Alexandria joining me live in Rock On Studio. New album, Like a House on Fire, is out now, and the single Anti-Socialist, #6 on Rock Radio. And make sure you keep calling your local radio stations, messaging them, emailing them, saying, I want to hear Anti-Socialist. Yeah. So we all know you're a great husband, you're a great father, you're a great rock star, but there's a new side of you too. American Satan, phenomenal movie put out by Sumerian Records. Absolutely loved it. Now, you worked with some big actors going into this movie, and you worked with some rock stars and some comedians almost and more. How did you prepare for your role in this movie? Was acting something you've always done, or was this a new venture?
It was a brand new venture for me, and I'll tell you what, mate, it was petrifying. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I took the role, and I was super excited, and it got to about a week out, and I was like, hang on a minute, what am I doing? Like, I am not prepared for this at all. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to act. It had never even been a thought that crossed my mind. I spent my whole childhood and adult life up until that point concentrating on nothing but music. And I actually called Ash Avildsen maybe 4 days before filming. I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm out. I'm dropping out. And he was like, you can't drop out. I was like, I can, I'm just not coming. And he was like, no, there's millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars on the line that we've put into this movie. If you don't turn up as one of the lead roles, the whole movie is done. We have to postpone and push in people's schedules. And I was like, oh God. So I went and I did it. And the first day was a nightmare. It was so scary. I was so afraid. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk. I just needed water every 2 seconds. I couldn't remember any of my lines. And then from there on out, it got easier and easier and easier. And by the end of it, I forgot that I was even filming, because you become such close friends with the people you're filming with. It's almost like being in a band on tour. These people, you live with them. You spend hours of every day and every night with these people, interacting with no one else. And you end up having a really good time. So much so to the point where sometimes they'd be like, okay, break's over, it's time to start filming. It's like, oh, filming, like you forgot what you're there to do, because you're having such a good time with the cast and the crew and production and everything. So I ended up actually really falling very deeply in love with acting. And I think it was because it gave me that same adrenaline rush as stepping foot on stage at Rock on the Range or Carolina Rebellion or Download Festival, and there's like 50 to 100,000 people there. You get this rush of energy, and I didn't think that could be matched in any other way. But I got a very similar feeling acting, and it's because it was so scary. I was like, man, this is nuts. What am I doing? And instead of there being a crowd of people cheering you on, there's silence, and there's a crowd of maybe 50 to 100 people surrounding you, silent, watching your every move, and it's so petrifying. But as soon as you do it and they go, we got the take, we got the shot, good job, you're like, I did it. Yeah. It's a cool thing. And I just fell in love with it. And obviously we finished filming last year or the year before at this point, the TV show Paradise City, which is the next chapter of American Satan. So I had a blast doing that. The cast was even more elevated. Like if I felt out of my depth and element in the movie, the TV show was just a next level. It was filled with like real celebrities, not me, not like me coming in. There was like legit Golden Globe winners and stuff. Like you got Entourage and The Sopranos and Sons of Anarchy walking around, and I'm like, whoa, I shouldn't be here. But again, I just had the best time filming it.
Yeah, because that would drive me nuts. And I think it's a prime example, and we could wrap that into so much with everything that's going on in the world right now, is you were terrified to do something, and it ended up being one of the best things you've ever done because you actually went and did it. And I think that's something we all need to do now, is make it comfortable to be uncomfortable. You
right.
know?
And that's kind of literally, that's kind of how we feel with our albums too. People are like, they're like shocked at our change with every album. But if you listen back from the beginning of Asking's career, we've changed with every single record. No record sounds the same. And it's that very reason. It's like, I don't want to be stuck in a rut. I want to push myself. I want to make myself feel uncomfortable. I want to be in the studio and go, ooh, I don't know how people are going to react to that, rather than going in there and going, hey, I got this. I know exactly what people want to hear. That's, to me, that's not the way you create art. And it's not, like you said, that's not the way the best decisions of your life are made, I don't think.
Yeah, the best decisions are the most uncomfortable and hardest ones. But looks like you nailed it. So do we have any details on Paradise City? When is it coming out? Where are we going to be able to watch it? Do we know anything?
Oh, man. You're asking all the questions I'm also asking. I'm like, when is it coming out? I want to watch it. And I actually just there's so much that goes into it that I don't think people realize. Obviously, like, once you've filmed it, they then have to go. I mean, for instance, there's 8 episodes on season 1. And each episode's like 45 minutes long. That's less than 8 hours of content for you to watch. But to get those 8 hours, hundreds of hours are filmed, and someone's has to sit through it meticulously and watch. And not only is it just one take of each of these scenes, there's multiple takes and multiple angles. It takes so long to put it all together. And then after that, you go, okay, well, you're filming outside, and when this person said this line, an airplane came overhead. So we're gonna have to get them to come back in and
redo one line.
That line, yeah, and juggling everyone's schedules, and then the color correction and the score and everything that goes into it. It takes a really long time. So it feels like forever, even for me. And I'm just like, I want to see it. But from my understanding, it's pretty much finished now. There's a huge name that I don't think I'm at liberty to say who it was that's done the score for this TV show, which is just like mind blowing to me. And when it's announced, it's like, whoa, you got who to do the score? Which is really exciting. And I did actually get to watch the first 2 episodes without color correction and stuff. And it's really good. Like, I was upset.
That's good.
The rest of the episodes.
I remember getting into radio, and I would say when I would listen back to myself, I would hear myself and cringe like, ooh. And then when technology came and I started doing this web series and TV show, I would watch myself on camera the first couple times and I would cringe like, ooh, I could have done that better. Did you have any cringe moments seeing yourself on camera, or were you already used to it from music videos and interviews and everything else?
It's a bit of both at this point in my career. I think there's a lot of times where I can cringe, but then you have to take a step back and realize that people aren't judging you as hard as you're judging you. And so, for instance, if I'm watching a scene where there's like this happening and this happening and this conversation and this scenery and this soundtrack, people are taking in the scene. Whereas when I'm watching it, I'm just meticulously staring at me. Like, what are you doing? But people aren't digesting or ingesting a movie, I don't think, in that particular way, just so you just have to let it go. And of course there's things that I definitely would have liked to have done better, and it's the same thing happened to me with the movie as it did with the TV show. So you don't film in chronological order, you film depending on scenes and where you are. So sometimes you can be filming in the middle of the movie on the first day or what have you, but the same thing happened with the TV shows. The movie, for me, the first few days or I guess maybe like week of recording or filming, sorry, was getting into the flow of it, feeling out my character again, getting into like the routine of acting and not being me. And then you get to the end of it and you're like, oh man, I'm nailing it. And they're like, okay, well, that's a wrap, we're done. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could go back to that first week and redo all those scenes, because I'm way more comfortable. I'm way more in the zone now. So there's definitely times where I'm like, I'll be watching, I'm like, I know, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that scene right there that I just watched was one of the first scenes we filmed, because you can see the and
you can see it. We're always going to be our worst critics or
exactly.
toughest critics.
I always. Changes even for like Leonardo DiCaprio and all these big actors and actresses. I think they probably look at their performances and go, oh, I could have done that better too. So I think that's just part of human nature, isn't it? You do judge yourself. You're your own worst critic, sometimes to the point where it's bullying almost.
Well, you've been cooking up a lot of stuff on your Instagram page with bringing out the acoustic guitar on some of the tracks and playing some riffs, even teaching little guitar lessons from Asking Alexandria's riffs. Have you been writing anything new or reworking any songs for something you got coming out in the future?
I've literally been doing so much music. There's nothing else to do. So we're working on acoustic versions of literally right now. In fact, today I'm waiting on a mix back of Anti-Socialist acoustic rendition, and we went a little different with this one. We've done acoustic renditions of our songs since the early days, but they've always kind of been like the nice slow acoustic jam. We'll add some strings and it's nice and relaxed. With Anti-Socialist, we were like, oh fuck it, let's keep the energy going. So we had James come in and play like real live drums, and we kept the energy up, which is different from something we've normally done with acoustic things. So I'm actually waiting on that mix to come back today, which is super exciting. And then I've been working on a lot of new music for Asking, a lot of music for solo stuff. I've been doing a lot of auditions for TV shows and movies. So I've just been trying to keep myself really busy. Just because we can't tour doesn't mean I can't keep pushing forward and keep creating, which is what I love to do anyway. So it's not really much of a job when you enjoy doing it so much.
That's great. Ben Bruce from Asking Alexandria joining me right now. New single, Anti-Socialist, out, number 6 on the charts. Make sure to call your local rock radio stations. Hit them up and say, I want to hear Anti-Socialist, to get that to number 1 for them. Like a House on Fire, the record is out now. If you haven't listened to it yet, what are you waiting for? Get online, you stream it and download it, and join the other 60 million downloads and streams that they've had for it already. Ben, I can't wait to see you back on the road. Hopefully all the tour schedules and dates get rescheduled, the line back up, and we could really get out there and see this album live, which is something I know you take so much pride in. And I really appreciate you having on the show today, man.
Oh, of course, man. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I had a really good time, actually. So thank you. And thank you for being a believer and a supporter in Asking and the new album and everything we do. It means a lot.
Make sure to subscribe to Rock On Studio Live so you never miss out on another interview. Remember, peace, love, unity, talk, think, and change. My name is Elwood, and this is Rock On Studio. Canberra.